Welcome, everyone, to Drive to Spins Circuit of America's Round 19 review with myself, Peter, and Dion. Dion, we've got up here the qualifying results for the race. Talk us through who did well and who were we surprised with that didn't?
Yeah, so a couple of surprising results. I mean, I didn't do well, qualified in 11th, but let's not worry about that. Didn't have a good quali session. First, let's talk about this guy in P2, only 0.4 seconds behind Alvey. I mean, no surprise, Alvey's at top. He had a blistering lap with 132.9. That's just, you're in a league of your own, Alvey, so well done, mate. But account 986, Peter, Julian.
And you know, a solid second too, because he was way ahead of the Williams of Jordan. So yeah, lots of promise there. But does it translate? We'll find out soon. Greg did well as well. P4.
Yeah.
And who were we surprised about?
Geordie in P5. So yeah, I think the lack of practice is showing. Normally he's up there with Alvey. He's normally where Julian is, so a bit of a surprise to see Geordie in P5 after qualifying. And Liam's done really well too in P6, so only 1.8 behind Alvey. Yeah, he's done right. And then Chris in P7.
McLaren as well. Does this qualifying? Let's have a look at the start and see if this translates into some points.
Let's have a look. So we're looking at the start from my perspective. I actually get off to a really good start, as you'll see when the lights go out. But I'm just a little bit cautious. I back off a little bit.
Chris in front of me didn't get a good start. And then And then we were lucky to avoid each other, but there's a little bit of carnage leading into this corner.
Yeah.
I think
that was Julian.
That's Julian, and I think that was Eric in the other Red Bull there. On the inside.
Yeah, well, Eric, he's right behind me. You can see him in my mirror.
Idiots,
come on. Yeah. So Chris is asking Liam and Aaron to.
Yeah, we don't know if Aaron had more acceleration issues carrying on from Singapore, but
that's right. So at this point, right, I've made up so many places. I'm in P6 from P11. Then Chris loses it.
Sideways McLaren.
Yeah, and then I just cop some wing damage, which kind of ruins my race. Not Chris's fault, just a racing incident. But I had to pit at the end of this lap, which just put me in last place. Which the rest of the race was just a recovery for me. But then if we cut to the last lap, I managed to hold Johnny off by 0.8 seconds. So all I've got to do is just stay in front for one more lap and I can take home P6. Let's have a look at how I go. So coming around the first turn, just taking a bit too wide, gas too early, and spin out. You can see Johnny and Anth pass me. And that's just unfortunate. Well, let's skip ahead to the hairpin. So you can
definitely safe there in 6 before that spin.
I was. And the other thing to note was Johnny had used up all his ERS, all his battery, so he didn't have anything left really. So I could have, if I had just held that position, it would have been good. But you can see the two of them in the foreground going around the corner. And you'll see a yellow flag come up. They have some incident. So I'm just getting on Ant, but he's got so much straight line speed. He's got DRS as well. I don't have DRS. I'm on the mediums. He's on the softs. So he's a lot quicker. I get in front of him, but outbrake him a little bit, have a minor incident here of no consequence. And then I managed to get that racing line there. Outbrake him a little bit, but he takes the position back. I think I take this turn a touch wide. Yeah, just a touch wide there. Just missed the apex a little bit. But we both go wide on this turn. I've managed to bring it back a little bit. So he's gone wide. I bring it back, gain on him a little bit. I take this turn really well.
There you go, Joel's 4th place for you.
And coming around the last turn, he's gone wide. And then I
just off
to him. Yeah. So close. So I've actually forgot that he's got a 3-second time penalty. So all I had to do was just maintain that place. I didn't have to get so close. But anyway, I still came home with 7th. But if I hadn't spun out at turn 1, I could have been in P6 potentially. So yeah, absolutely gripping final lap. Great battle with Ant. So let's have a look at the results. So no surprise, Alvy in P1. Geordie had a great race in P2. Jordan in P3.
Made up some good spots.
Yeah, but Luke is in 4th.
Fastest lap in 4th. And actually, now that I look at it, he was actually 5th because Chris had a 3-second penalty. So
oh, really? Yeah.
He's a little bit lucky to get 4th. Considering he was fastest and he had a blister in qualifying. So, Julian, if you're listening, just tidy it up a little bit. You can be up there. Your team needs you.
That's right. And Anthony could have done better as well. I mean, he had a 5-second, a 5-place grid penalty from quali, and then the 3-second time penalty. So he could have been further up the grid had it not been for those penalties.
Considering how well he did to get from starting at the back, to get up to 8th. So he did really well.
That's right. Well done, mate. Greg didn't have a good race. Started in P4 and then ended in P10. So he mentioned to me that he didn't have a great race set up. So that's what happened there. Potentially, maybe, don't know. Liam didn't finish. Crashed out during the race, but in 14th, Vinny, finished the race. Well done.
Despite two 3-second tie penalties, but Vinny,
but still,
you got to start somewhere. You got to finish these races to get points.
Yeah.
Well done, Vinny, and So that was good. It was very good.
Well done, Vinny.
The driver of the day,
Anthony. Well done, mate. So despite being stitched up during quali, going out in the dryers on the Inter, was made to believe it was bucketing down when in fact it was not.
A little too trusting, Anthony. A little too trusting.
yeah. The game even told him not to go onto the Inters, but trusted is made of 15 years. But anyway, takes home driver of the day. Well done. Standings. So Alvy in 1st, Geordie 2nd. I've dropped down to 4th. So Jordan and I are equal points. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So I'm hoping I can claw back 3rd place, but I think Johnny's got a pretty big lead with just 4 races left, but we'll see if anything can happen. And then the McLaren boys next. But speaking of the McLaren boys, let's have a look at the constructors because that's quite close.
That is quite close.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some really good drivers there, but they don't always have the teammates, but they're still up at the top with the AlphaTauris and the Alpines. But the Ferrari boys and the McLaren boys, you guys should be making more points because you're both the drivers are turning up every race. Vinny is, to be fair. But not making the most of their opportunities.
That's right.
Especially with fastest lap Julian.
Should be doing better.
Yeah, should be doing better. But still, I mean, Red Bull, it's still pretty close for top 4, I reckon.
It is, yeah. It's close. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out. So the next week we're racing in Mexico round 20, 4 races left. Stay tuned for our Mexico pre-race analysis.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to us.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Good night.